Albert Einstein, Bucharest, 20 January 1966. Albert Einstein, German physicist, 1879-1949. Luminous white, with a large triangle and a bright point in the middle. Layer 5. Albert Einstein, the German scientist born in 1879, is the author of the famous theory of relativity, which opened a new era in scientific and philosophical thought. He is also the author of the quantum theory, as well as the relationship between energy, mass, and the speed of light. Veronica. He is dressed in white like the others, with a cloak draped over him. He has a kind, gentle, calm, pleasant face, serene eyes, and an expression of balance and peace. I greeted him. Einstein, may the great creator, the thinker and executor of everything that is, force in motion through time and space, of everything that is truth, who has granted you this favor, the opening of a path of light through which we may see one another and communicate, also grant you the strength that your work may bear fruit, be understood, and become immortal. I embrace you with friendly love. I remember with pleasure how I would immerse myself in thoughts, whose destination I saw only very late, very, very late. This journey into understanding was full of surprises, and it seemed I never had enough time to comprehend them fully and to record them, to put them onto paper. And how little I was actually able to penetrate. Now I realize how immense the human mind truly is, even while on earth, what vast spaces it can travel through, and behold, how much it can understand, and yet how many mysteries it still cannot unravel. Yet, for such a journey one still needs the attracting force of the one who presents this mental excursion into the mysteries of the unknowable. If you listen to him, you experience profound satisfaction. The misunderstandings of your fellow men are like an early morning frost. Before the sun they disappear, and the plants recover. The important thing is to continue your own ascent into the intelligible world and to understand what is being shown to you. Everything that we have left behind for our fellow human beings. I speak on behalf of all my brothers who labored and left discoveries of profound understanding, is a form of divine love for mankind, allowed to pass through windows, some larger and some smaller, so that people might realize what work and faith in something immortal can bring to earth. Once again I repeat, the reward of labor is the joy of its accomplished results. Like my brothers, in whose company I now share this same everlasting joy, I need not repeat what you have surely already understood. I am now beside Mendeleev. I regret nothing about the life I lived on earth. I do not regret that I failed to work more, nor that I accomplished too little. I believe I fulfilled my mission. George, we would like to know from what place you descended. Calumnus, I have already told you that I am the one who will answer such questions. George, we would like to see your spiritual foundation. Veronica, luminous white, with a large triangle upon his forehead, and a bright point in its center. George, thank you very much, esteemed Einstein. Veronica, he has departed. Calumnus, I repeat, whenever you wish to know where someone has come from, ask me, but not in the presence of the guest. The last three individuals whom you questioned, and who described their work and the satisfaction they experienced, are separated, or rather detached, from the beings who dwell in the Golden City. Each of them directs the work carried out on earth through the person detached from them, according to the will of the great force, for the benefit of those among whom that person was born, destined to see and to leave behind what you now possess. They themselves do not know this. We know it, because these are laws that are observed without exception. I previously told you that Mendeleev belonged to the 8th layer. In the meantime I have made further inquiries, and I can now tell you that Mendeleev, Edison, and Einstein are all detached portions of great spiritual discs, sent to earth by the will of the great Creator in order to bring enlightenment. That is all I had to say. Remain in the peace of our Lord. Enrico Fermi, Bucharest, 23 January 1968. Enrico Fermi, Italian physicist, 20th century, light gray with a white collar, layer 4. Veronica, he has arrived. He has a very pleasant atmosphere, something that radiates light, especially around his head and forehead. His expression is intelligent, warm, gentle, and noble. What a handsome man he is! What a pleasant presence, with peace and joy upon his face. He is dressed in a modern suit with a kind of bow at his neck. The color of the suit is a silky, luminous gray-green. I greeted him, congratulating him for all the work he accomplished. Veronica, Fermi bows towards C.U. Carta. Fermi, may the one whom you asked, and who approved our meeting, bless you. I thank you for the special attention you have shown me, and I am at your disposal if you believe I may be of any use. When I lived in your world, I too had my idols, people whom I saw as being far, far above me, possessing immense powers and unimaginable depths of understanding. When I came into their world, besides realizing how small I truly was, I could scarcely gather my thoughts except to say, how vast science is, how unfathomable the universe is, how small we are, merely attempting to crack its shell, while never even tasting its kernel. Because we merely knock upon the shell, people consider us great, for through those cracks there escape fragrance, flavor, color, energy, so to speak. I know you love and admire me as a scientist, as someone who struggled to penetrate reality, to knock upon hidden doors, to discover what I felt had to exist. But how many hundreds and thousands of years must still pass? How many evolved people, through effort and insight, must still appear before the magnificent mysteries scattered throughout the universe can be seen and revealed? From where I now dwell, I can no longer work, nor do I have anyone for whom to work. Yet I would gladly return, bringing with me the knowledge I now possess, so that I might discover even more of what remains hidden. Perhaps I would not succeed. Perhaps the time has not yet come. Perhaps humanity has not yet earned the right to receive more. Everything appears only when its appointed time has arrived. Everything manifests where the proper climate exists. When parents see their child trying to discover something, even if only for a game or for the satisfaction of solving a problem, they help him. Being older and wiser, they open the way before him and show him the path. But if they see that his efforts could lead to disaster, they not only refuse to help him reach his goal, they stop him. It is the same with the human being who spends years searching for something new. These discoveries are not ownerless, neither do they appear by accident. They are governed by law, by an order of extraordinary complexity. The one directing this great mechanism knows exactly when and what should be revealed. How immense must be the Father, the keeper of these laws, who knows every detail, from the smallest to the greatest depths. If the people of Earth, especially those devoted to science, knew that these phenomena have a true governor, they would remain on their knees for days, imploring this God of theirs to allow them but a single ray of light, that they might glimpse something from the immense ocean of knowledge, from the vast science that is not yet revealed to humanity, because there are not yet worthy people to receive it. I tell you this because I now realize that the being whom we might call God is merely one of the humblest servants of the great Master, who has established countless wonders and appointed rulers over them, so many, I believe, that even he has forgotten their number. They are too many, too great. Although his power is incomparable and his gaze penetrates everything, I still ask his forgiveness if I dare think that many of these wonders remain forgotten. Forgive me, I have wandered away from your questions. In truth, I became lost in my own thoughts. Perhaps you wish to ask something else, but because I feel so comfortable among you, I simply began speaking about what now occupies my mind, what I see and what I think. George, that is precisely why we invited you to share with us the thoughts you now have after almost 12 years since leaving the earth. So do not worry. Indeed, we too revolve within the same climate, the same thoughts, the same questions. For some time now I have had an obsession. It seems to me that we who still live in physical bodies, and you who no longer do, are all standing inside a vast factory, surrounded by buttons and levers that we know nothing about. Buttons waiting to be pressed, levers waiting to be turned, by an action, a movement, even a thought. Fermi, that is exactly what I wished to express earlier, though perhaps I was not clear enough. Exactly as you said, there are buttons waiting to be pressed and levers waiting to be turned. This immense treasury of knowledge exists, but there are too few hands capable of touching it, too few minds capable of understanding how it works. Perhaps there could indeed be hands capable of finding these buttons of which you speak, capable of witnessing the results of activating them. But this is only my opinion, because those results would not yet be applied wisely, proportionately, and for the common good. A veil is allowed to remain, preventing humanity from seeing them. You can sense that they exist, but that is all. You cannot yet see what you feel. Humanity has not yet reached the proper maturity, nor unity, nor universal brotherhood. And for that reason, the revelation is delayed. That is my opinion. Fermi, where I dwell there are not many scientists. I have very few with whom I can exchange ideas. I have had almost no collaborators. Just as in life, so now, I remain alone. Those around me have no need for my insights, my discoveries, or my scientific understanding. Apart from that, everything here is perfect. There is nothing to add and nothing to desire. George, where do you live? Fermi, in the fourth place of rest. George, and are you happy there? Fermi, more than happy. I am truly content. George, who were you before this earthly life? You seem to master the physical sciences remarkably quickly. Fermi, I know who I was because I met one of my former teachers, and he reminded me. He said to me, "Long ago, my beloved friend and brother, you were my student." He told me that I had been a gifted Egyptian boy who began to understand astronomy at a very early age. I asked questions that even astonished him. This was about 200 years before Christ. He said that I was an exceptional discoverer for that period. I perceived things with extraordinary clarity, and while still very young, I had already earned a place among the older astronomers, solving problems far beyond what someone my age should have been capable of understanding. I died at almost 60 years of age. A few years later, my good and enlightened teacher also came here. It was he who told me all of this when I returned for my second earthly life. You cannot imagine how deeply I long to return once more, but this time filled with all the knowledge I have now gathered, and with the desire to penetrate even deeper into the mysteries of creation. Not so that I might become immortal, but so that through my efforts, people might behold the gigantic being behind this universe, and recognize everything that has been placed at our disposal for our good and for our happiness. That is, for the happiness of humanity. George, I expected you to belong to a higher layer, considering the importance and greatness of your discoveries. Fermi, discoveries are one thing. One spiritual place is another. I did not make discoveries for myself, but for others. George, precisely for that reason, your work, your inventions, your discoveries, they are tremendous gifts to humanity, and a great contribution to the world's treasury of knowledge. Fermi, yes, but I worked only on those things. I never truly lived their deeper significance, nor did I cultivate the corresponding spiritual life. That was my deficiency, my great mistake. The reason why my spiritual light is limited is that the supreme master whom I served was my own intellect. I believed in nothing else. Nothing else interested me. I did not believe in God, nor did I believe in the existence of a spiritual world. I was a convinced materialist, a man of reason, of instruments, of mechanisms. I believed only in physics and in thought. I failed to realize that thought itself is the divine part of man. I lived completely devoted to research and investigation, yet I was never truly happy. I investigated blindly, like an earthly man without a spiritual horizon. I scarcely even devoted myself to my own family. I was dragged alongside them almost like a dying man, because I lived only for my ideas. George, are you criticizing yourself? Yes. The fact that I now dwell in the fourth layer and did not reach the true world of the blessed is due to my lack of spiritual vision. What I accomplished is the reason I am where I am today. I am satisfied, yet I regret my lack of spiritual elevation. I should never have regarded my own mind as the only God that exists. To be perfectly honest, I made an idol of my own intellect. That was my mistake. I idolized myself. I saw myself as a god because of my thoughts and my discoveries. Now I realize that I should have united scientific research with harmony and beauty. That was my second great mistake. I never understood harmony or beauty in life. I never learned to delight in music, or in the sky, or in flowers. My life became one-sided. Everything I achieved, I attributed solely to myself. Whenever I accomplished something, I experienced only the satisfaction of glorifying the God within me, my own mind. I did not experience these discoveries as great acts of service. I did not regard them as serving my fellow human beings. I did not love my fellow men. I was indifferent. Had I considered myself a servant of humanity, a messenger sent to reveal a hidden treasure, an unknown mystery, perhaps my spiritual destiny would now be different. Instead, I regarded myself as the owner of the discoveries I offered, as though they belonged to me. Those around me encouraged me to think this way. They placed too much confidence in me. They regarded me as a god. George, from which layer did you originally come? Fermi, also from the fourth layer. I was in the fourth before this life as well. I have never been higher. George, please show us your basic spiritual colors. A very light gray, an exceptionally beautiful white collar. George, otherwise you are pure. You do not even have any yellow upon you. Fermi, I was never arrogant, and I never insulted anyone. George, is your wife with you? Fermi, no, she would only distract me. George, how so? Laura would have distracted you? Fermi, not exactly distracted me, but I feel better alone. Here I have no need of assistance. George, is Laura still alive? Fermi, yes, she is elderly now, but she is well. She loves me deeply. Every day she sends me everything that is best within her. She lives with me in her thoughts, in her home, and I in turn try to comfort her as much as I can. I try to make her feel that I am near her. I try to help her understand that I am happy. I regret that I did not love her more. I loved only my work. She loved me much more than I loved her. The wings of a man during earthly life are given to him by his wife, provided she understands him and supports him. I worked alone, not together with her, yet I was sustained by her understanding and by her love. I continue my research even now, but I no longer find satisfaction in it, because I have no one to whom I can give what I discover, only to my wife. She calls me just as you have called me. George. What? Laura is a medium? Fermi, she was not, but the love she has for me has enabled her to hear me. She does not see me, but she hears me and listens to everything I wish to tell her. She writes down what lies upon my soul. She tells no one, lest people think she has gone mad. They might say that grief has affected her mind. I have told her to believe in the Almighty and Supreme Lord more than she ever believed in me. I have told her never again to regard me as her God, because that is what she used to call me. I have taught her to forget that I possess discoveries I never revealed, so that she would not discredit herself by speaking of them. She is a very wise woman. George, thank you for everything you have shared with us. Fermi, I envy your spiritual ascent and I rejoice for you and for the work you are doing. May you be blessed. Veronica.